Welcome to the astrology interview. And today I have with me Jess Matlock. Mallock, I do apologize, Jess. Jess is a fascinating person I've actually met quite recently. She's an artist and a shamanic practitioner. But her journey to this point, it's been fascinating, Jess, because it feels like the universe was trying to get your attention to wake up and do the work that you do, but it's been quite a long process. So I'm just going to outline a couple of things. I've got the charts for the two particular things that have happened in your life for you, but
Mhm.
obviously other things have. And I just thought it'd be quite interesting for people who have met crises in their life to look at their charts and just to see the astrology that's been going on at the time, and how there seems to be a process of inviting us to wake up. I'll put it that way. We're not
Mhm.
going to share charts because it's invasive, but I do have Jess's charts here, and I'll be talking about the astrology of what was happening to her at the time and how
Mhm.
that might resonate with her. So, Jess, first of all, I know you had stuff happening in your childhood that seems to have closed you down, and
Mhm.
you're quite clear about that. But when you were 20, you experienced what you told me, a lightning strike down a telephone. Now, most people are killed when this happened, and I believe it threw you across the room.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you want to say a little bit more about this? And before you do, astrologically, it's fascinating for me because on the day that it happened, you had Uranus, the god of shocks and surprises, sitting on something called your ascendant. Now, I know you're not massively into astrology, but anybody understanding astrology would go, whoa, that would do it. So, yes. Uranus, the god of shocks and surprises, was sitting on, the most prominent part of your chart. So
Okay.
yes, absolutely. And the other thing, it was making a square aspect to Saturn in Aquarius. Yeah, and Saturn is the lord of karma. Aquarius is technology. Uranus actually is also is the co-ruler of Aquarius. So yeah, I'm interested in this. So just explain to us what happened for you.
Oh, I was working in a restaurant in Devizes, and there was a massive storm, and the restaurant was flooding in the basement. And a friend phoned me from London. So I was in the kitchen and I was on the phone, and then something came down the phone, and it felt like someone had hit me with a plank of wood, like a Tom and Jerry moment, and it goes ding, and it threw me onto the floor. And we were like, what happened? And then we worked out what must have happened. And then I got taken to the hospital that was in flooded as well. And they checked my neurology. And after that, what I noticed is I started knowing things, like really mundane things about people, like really boring details,
Yeah.
like things that were going to happen. They weren't big things. They were just like, so and so is going to come and visit you, or your car's going to break down, things like that.
So it was like sort of you could almost tell their future, or you
Yeah.
could just,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't like the feeling.
No.
So I shut it away. Yeah.
That's so interesting because, gosh, that's so interesting because also at that time Uranus was also not just squaring Saturn, but also squaring your Mars as well. So there is this experience going on for you, and Uranus often it's the awakener. It can
Right.
be this sense of awakening, and I'm curious about that. because for you obviously something happened for you,
Yeah,
definitely, but you
yeah.
didn't want it.
No, I didn't want it. And if I look back in hindsight, like I was very good at shutting things down. So anything spectacular or unusual, I didn't want anyone to know about. So until you asked me and I researched it, I just had this thing, it's nothing. It's like, it's not a big deal. And then I started researching, and then I've seen people have died from a hit down the telephone. I didn't know that. And I've just always put everything, put everything away, keep it quiet. Don't notice me too much.
That's so interesting. Oh my goodness me. I mean, you've got your son in Gemini, so Gemini's kind of up for this as well. But up for technology and research and all of that thing. So, and I think probably what happened was the Saturn involved in this. Saturn closes things down,
Ah,
and maybe things you just weren't ready because you
ah,
were only 20.
yes,
And
yeah.
I guess this is true that you never really had any of those experiences before.
No, I'd
Yeah.
experienced some things with my mum because she sensed things. But I also
Right.
didn't like that either. So
What was it about it that you didn't like?
I didn't feel safe or I didn't feel grounded. It felt like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting, isn't it?
yeah, it is
Well,
interesting.
in your chart, it's absolutely bang on. There is Uranus going, time to wake up, girl, or having that experience in down you went underneath a tree, you were on a phone, and that's technology, and
Oh, I see.
so
Okay.
yeah. And absolutely. So I'm really
Ah,
fascinated by that.
okay.
And your natal Mars is in Leo. So I'm just wondering about, and Leo is ruled by the Sun, and your Sun is in Gemini. So it's interesting that you started to get messages.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, you can read a lot into astrology, obviously, but
Yes.
it just feels like this seems very on tap. And then you went, no, that's a Saturn going, no, I'm not going to do that. That's so let's roll things on. You didn't want to wake, you weren't willing to do that. Were things coming to you unbidden? Or could you just go, no, I'm not doing it?
They first of all they kept coming, and then maybe within a month I stopped it.
Right. Okay.
I just, yeah. Once I started realizing I was knowing things because they were kept getting corroborated by people, and I was a bit like, oh, I don't like that.
Did you feel like something had massively changed for you, or did you go, well, that's just an experience that happened?
Um, I felt like something had changed in how I perceive things. But like I say, there was this bit of me that
Yeah.
just shut stuff down. So it's just like I kept silent.
Right.
So I
Okay.
never say anything.
Okay. So well, let's roll on a couple of years because obviously, from my understanding, it feels like the universe wasn't going to let you go.
No.
It had you in its sights because 3 years later, you had a near-death experience when you were giving birth to your daughter.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into that story, I just got it's again fascinating for me as an astrologer to look at this because transiting for all the astrologers out there listening to this, transiting Pluto was is in the seventh house, sorry, the 12th house, conjuncting Jess's Neptune. And that is the classic archetypal near death experience signature. So again, I'm really, and also it's opposing your natal Venus, and there you are giving birth to in Taurus, giving birth to a child. So I am really interested. So tell us more about what happened there.
Well, it started as a normal birth, and they were like, "You're young, this is going to be easy," and then it turned into not easy. And I had every kind of drug, and then everything stopped working, and they realized that she was completely stuck, like her head was round the wrong way, and she was posterior, and it ended up being an emergency, and they ran me down the corridor. That's the bit I remember. And they injected me in the neck. They just said, "You got to go to sleep now because you're both going," basically. So I could, yeah.
So do you recall anything that happened to you when they injected you? Did you have an out of body experience or anything like that?
Yeah, I had this feeling of going down a tunnel of light and meeting these two. To me, they were like light beings, angels. They were female. And it's like they almost had a chart and they were kind of like, you're not meant to be here. And I've had that before, but it's like, you're not meant to be here. And then I woke up.
Okay, so the tunnel, I mean, I imagine that's Pluto in again, as an astrologist speaking, this Pluto conjunct Neptune. I know it doesn't mean a lot to you, but Neptune is the dissolving of reality, and
Ah,
Pluto is the Lord of death and rebirth. So,
okay. And
so
then,
often when that happens, those two meet, there can be a profound
oh,
experience. And obviously, you didn't die because you came back, but you
no.
had that experience.
Yes. And
Is
I
that how the
remember
world
the
is?
feeling of letting go, and that stayed with me, like
Can you explain
surrender.
a bit about that?
Well, like when you stop trying to stay alive and you let go, I let go, and it's just complete surrender, and it's very peaceful.
Did
Yeah.
you feel it? Did you feel your body was letting go, or you were letting go of your body? What was happening for you?
I feel like it's like I leave my body.
Yeah,
That's the feeling, but it just feels very easy and graceful.
that's what it felt like for
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
So now, when you look back, because this is a while ago, this is when you were 23.
Yeah.
And how has that affected your relationship with death and dying?
I think I don't, I feel like I'm not scared of it, and I never have been because I
Mm.
know when you get to that point, it's okay. It's the bit before, isn't it?
And were you scared before?
I wasn't scared. I think I was just so in the process of it, the pain and it not
Yes.
working. I don't remember feeling scared. That's interesting. I didn't feel scared.
Can you remember what you were feeling?
Well, one of the things I was feeling was one of the doctors had been quite intrusive, and I was feeling quite angry about that.
Mm.
And I think I just have this feeling of whatever will come, will come.
So you really were in a process of just letting go.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? And that's very much that's Neptune and Pluto talking together. I find this absolutely fascinating. And the other thing in your chart, which is really interesting, that Pluto is making at the time when this was happened, Jess, Pluto was making a sextile to your natal Pluto. So there is this sort of real sense of death and rebirth, but actually it's a supportive process rather than a destructive process. So maybe that is why you came back.
And then Sue, I'm just remembering something I said to
Yeah,
you
go.
earlier.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I woke up and I had my daughter, I'm like, I can stay here now because I'd always had this feeling I don't want to be here. So it's like now I've got a reason to be here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe that's why when I was going to the near-death experience, I didn't mind because I'm like, oh yeah, I can go now.
Oh my gosh, isn't
Yeah.
that fascinating? So
Yeah.
that is I mean, it's such a huge transformational process for you with this Pluto sextile Pluto, obviously working with you. And actually, you've been born with Pluto conjunct Uranus. And that's your that's your generation, but it does play out very much. into the 10th house for you, which is a constant state of process of transformation about how you are in the world.
Really?
Yes, yes, that and it was really being it wasn't being challenged, it was being fired up. It was so what happened to you after this near death experience? Where did that take you?
Well, it took me into motherhood,
Uh-huh.
being a mother, and I was a single parent as well. But it gave me the conviction or the strength to get myself to art college. And because I had no qualifications, so I had to go and do a adult education class and make a portfolio and get in without qualifications. So it gave me the impetus to do that, to do what my heart longed for, I guess.
Well, isn't that interesting? Because it happens. Oh gosh, I love this because as I said, when this was happening, a Pluto was opposing your Venus. So you have a natal Neptune opposing Venus, but your Venus is in Taurus, and that is the artist. That's the archetypal
Um,
artist. It's
oh,
so interesting, isn't it?
yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So something woke up, and it took those 3 years from the near-death experience with being struck by lightning, and like, no, I'm not doing that. And then bingo, 3 years later, this
Yeah.
very important near-death experience for you. So would you say that you woke up after that, or was there still another process going
I
on?
still didn't wake up. I feel like what I was doing probably was trying to undo some of my childhood things through with my daughter. And maybe
Oh,
that is waking
healing.
up. I was healing a different
Yeah.
my ancestral lines
Yes.
in the feminine because it
Yes.
like runs through my family. There's lots of stuff with the feminine and children and things. So I feel like I was probably I know now I was healing that.
Right. And look, is that retrospective looking back?
Yes, I can see
Yes.
that.
But that's what you feel that time was about. So,
Yes.
okay. So then you were doing that and that was beginning to resolve, I guess. And then what happened?
Then, well, I guess my art career was starting to do something, but then I had more children. And so again, it stopped. And then I go into this place, I'm going to be this kind of parent that does this and that. And then they got older, and then I went back to art college again.
Well, it's interesting because you do have Jupiter in Aries in your fifth house. And Jupiter is the Lord of expansion. So it will bring children into your world.
Oh,
But it
okay.
also brings the creative process into your world as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this desire, and I would imagine that this deep yearning to become an artist in your chart is very much this signature between Neptune in the 12th house
Yeah.
and opposite your Venus in the sixth house, which is this house of work. For artists, they don't go to work; they are work.
Yes.
It's got that vibe to it, and they're very much wrapped up in this sense of values, what really matters to you.
Yeah.
So I find that really interesting. So just talk a little bit more about what happened. You had more children, and then something else happened for you, didn't
Okay.
it?
I went to do an MA in fine art photography, and at the end of that, I won an award. So I won this best in show, and for me, it'd been quite a tricky course because I wasn't necessarily conforming to a photo on the wall. I was making sculpture, but I won a prize, which was
Yeah.
amazing. And yeah, I had some interest in my art, but like 2 or 3 days later, we took the show down, and I bent down and I slipped a disc in my back. And then that led me on a journey of a year in a lot of pain. Shall I carry on?
Yes.
Okay. And so by the end of that year, I was in bed. I couldn't move. I was self-medicating on morphine, and I couldn't even lift my head to drink water, really.
Wow.
And in that time, there was one day it was really bad, and there was a tree outside my window, a winter tree, few leaves. A bird came and sat on the tree, and then the shaft of sunlight came down. And honestly, it's that moment that I feel like that's what woke me up in a way. Like, actually, I want more of that beauty. And it was
Wow.
after that that I got right, I have to phone an ambulance, and I had to do it. I had to phone the ambulance and I had to say, you have to come. And then the next day I had an emergency back operation and it fixed it.
So that was another huge something from the universe,
Yeah.
right? And then after that, is that when you started to really take on board being an artist, but also you started to train as a shaman?
Yes, that led on to me like I had some talking therapy, and then kind of what I got from that was I don't want to talk about this stuff anymore. And it led me to yeah, I had a reconciliation with my mum and it made me shake. And then I was like, okay, I need something. So I looked up physical therapy, shaking therapy, and I found this
Yeah,
thing called TRE.
yeah.
And I went, and then they said, why don't you train? So it was not on my radar. They said, why don't you just come and train? And then I did. And then I met someone who was studying shamanism, and I just was always like, "What's that medicine bundle?" She'd come back from Peru and tell us stories, and I was like, "Oh." And then she did some ceremonies with me, and I was like, the first ceremony I ever did with her, that's the beauty that I remember on the tree outside my window, and I'm like, that's what I want.
Wow.
It's the beauty that called me to the shamanic medicine
The
wheel.
beauty.
Yeah.
Isn't, and I suppose that's the art, the sensitivity of the artist, isn't it? What
Yes.
beauty means to you. Gosh,
Yes.
that's so interesting, especially when you've got this beautiful Venus in Taurus, which loves beauty. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what it's about.
Oh, that's
The
funny.
values and how do you, yes, it wants to create beauty in the
Ah,
world.
oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And also very much channeled through, I hate using the word channel, but sort of like
Yeah.
there's a beautiful link with the in your chart, Neptune is the higher aspect of Venus. So you have the earthly Venus, but Neptune is a higher aspect of Venus. So,
Ah.
God's love or whatever
Oh,
you want to,
oh,
however you want to describe that,
okay.
this sense of being given given the information, given the or you're turning that into beauty, whatever that
Okay.
is. And
That's exactly how it feels because it feels like
yeah,
it's something some people say creativity is all around here and I'm just letting it come through me, but it feels like it's something divine that comes through me.
yes. Well, it would do
Ah,
with this Neptune opposite your Venus, Neptune in the twa the
ah,
12th, which is about the collective. It's our inverted commas relationship, whatever we perceive the divine or God or I don't know, the dog
okay.
with purple spots, doesn't matter. Whatever we perceive that to be, it's that channel through.
Okay.
Um,
And it is the same feeling I had with the day with the tree.
I was just thinking about
That
that.
moment, the sort of presence
Yes.
and the divinity.
It's a
Okay.
shame we don't have a date for that,
Yeah.
but I would, there is obviously you're living your chart out and you're living the transits out. They're talking to you and
Yeah.
leading you forward. And I'm curious about your life because, do you feel like you have been constantly being led forward by another force, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I feel like if I look back at my life, there's always been something, let's take the next step, take the next step, the next thing, if that's what you mean. And
Yes.
I feel like I'm quite inquisitive. So I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I'm quite easily called to things.
Yeah, it's an interesting you've got quite a strong 10th house, which means, life is is spent in the or you take your talents into the world for other people to see, and you have your moon in Leo, which is highly creative, and you've got Mars in Leo, which just that's, oh, I always think that's Charlton Heston on his he's on the charger going off going, I'm up there, I'm going out there and going to do it. So you've got all of that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, yeah, totally, especially
Yes,
now because I'm like now is like I just feeling like I want to take my art out and
yes,
teaching and it's like in service and it's the
yes.
divinity. It's like that's what I'm bringing out.
So your MC is in Virgo, which is about service
Ah,
to the collective.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that absolutely, that's what it's all about. And that's very much your Pluto and Uranus in the 10th house in Virgo, the sign of service.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're wanting to be of service, taking it's this again, this living out the chart. Now, also what's interesting for me is you talked about your mum, and after the near-death experience and that period, that the really important work that you did with around her and with her, because again, this is for astrologers here. Jess has Chiron in Pisces, absolutely conjunct her IC. Now, the IC is the base of the chart. It represents home, family, belonging, all that
Ah,
state of belonging. But when you've got Chiron in Pisces, there can be I don't, it's almost like a shame and guilt of being who you really want to be. And there can be a sense of loss of identity. A parent, the IC can be a parent, can be have addictive experiences, the Pisces, or lost or disappearing. Now I know that that's for your mum. She disappeared. So the healing that you went on there. Pisces again is very creative. So
yeah.
you took that creative process into the healing
Mm.
as well, which is just extraordinary. And that feeds that it feels like that feeds your desire to be of service to other people.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to share what what that my pain through my art. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
That's completely what I want to do. And it's interesting when you say about my mum disappearing, because I suddenly had a moment of like, but that's what I do to myself as well. I have done. It's like I disappear myself, you know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's a very interesting one. And I was talking to a client about this just the other day because she's also got Neptune in her 12th house.
Mm.
Now, Peter Sellers had Neptune in his 12th house. And people who have, doesn't always happens, but this is a signature, is that they can often feel quite confused about who they are without playing a role. So Peter Sellers said, he used to say, I don't know who I am, but I do when I'm in a role.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
why all his relationships collapsed because they were marrying him as a role, but not, and he kept disappearing.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So I don't, how does that sit with you?
Yeah, that sits with me. I feel like my truth of me has always disappeared, or I've let it disappear, and I've put this other, yes, okay, yeah, I put a facade on of
Yeah.
everything's okay, I'm fine.
Isn't that interesting? And that,
Okay.
the growth is
Interesting.
to learn to nurture yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. So Jess, just tell us a little bit more about how you've turned these experiences into the work that you do as a shaman. But
Yeah.
also, I'm really curious about, and I've just been to see your exhibition about the symbols that you're bringing in as well, and what these mean for you. So let's just start with the shamanic work that you do.
Okay. So the shamanic work, I just started doing the course, and it wasn't ever on my list of I want to do this, I want to teach it, or but my teacher just said, "Would you come and join?" So it's like I got asked to join, and then the more I've done it, the more I have this like it's really important work because it's like completely helped me, and it's just yeah, it just feels really important, and it's brings the beauty into everyone's life. So I've just kept on doing it, and I've had a relationship with it. Sometimes I step away from it, and then I step back. So I do that. I notice I do that, and I'm stepping back I'm stepping in at the moment. Um, so yeah, I actually feel really passionate about it. Like I've had this relationship with it. I was very skeptical at the beginning, like what's a chakra, what's energy, what are you all talking about? So I was real skeptic. But I also think that's quite good because I've found a relationship with it, and now it all makes sense to me. I mean, it's just energy is just emotion, or
Yeah.
it's not anything strange. And I really like, I suppose I draw on all my skills from my wounds for holding space
Yeah.
because I feel like I have a lot of compassion. I can have compassion for lots of things because I kind of know the many things from my own life, my
Mm.
own experience of growing up and living in the world in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, and having pretty profound experiences along the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's the shamanic work that you do, but also talk a little bit about this art exhibition that you've got running
Okay.
and what it means for you and where you feel you have arrived at.
Okay. Well, what it means for me at the moment is it feels like finally I'm making the work I came here to make, literally. And it's like all of the work I've done before, now I see how it leads to this place. And a lot of the work before was me working in my wound, and it was a way of keeping me sane, honestly. I realize that now. It really helped. And then when I did the shamanic medicine, where I stopped making art for a little bit, and then when I started again, it was different. And so then I realized, oh, it's not all about this unconscious wound. So, and that's been a journey as well to get to, I'm like what I make is very minimal and simple. And, but yes, I feel like I can say everything I want in a few lines and a bit of color and shape. And it feels exciting.
Mm.
And I think, do you want to say where, because I've realized it came in a year when I'd gone to Peru and to meet the shaman and explore the land. And when I was there, a few things happened. But at that time, that's when my mum first got ill and diagnosed as going to die. But also, it's when I was at the Thunder Temple with the shaman, and he said, "Oh, you can put your medicine bundles out here, and the lightning might hit it." And then I said, "Well, what about if you've been hit by lightning?" And then it was like, oh, then they were like, oh, wow. And they're like, well, why are you here? You've got all of the information. You don't need to be learning anymore. So it kind of, and also it was in a moment where there was a big group of students and I felt really seen. So I had that uncomfortable like feeling. It just woke that up because I'd always downplayed it. And then we went to this very high up site, the Sun Temple. And up there, I experienced like stillness that I've never felt before, timelessness and infinity. And it was just like this amazing feeling. And I feel like that's what I brought back with me. And then those images came at the end of a shamanic course and they just dropped in. I don't know, they just appeared in my mind. I don't know how you'd explain it, but they just appeared. And then I decided to make a commitment to make them.
So they
So
literally just arrived.
yeah, blue symbols, but they were like when I first painted, they were like tiny. And then what I got just from being with them is you need to make them much bigger and they're for the people, they're for everyone.
Mm.
So that's what I'm with, and that's the service thing because I don't actually know what they mean. But I know for me, while I was painting them, it was while my mum was dying and then processing after. And the whole time I was painting, I just felt like I was held by them, like they held space for me.
Mm.
So it was very helpful. So yeah, that's
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because I think the creative process, sometimes we can't make sense of it.
no,
And maybe that's not what we're meant to do. I don't know. I'm not an artist, but I've seen a lot of art in my time, and sometimes it just talks to you, but it will talk to somebody else differently.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think the fact that you're working with when we first met and we were talking about them, I thought they looked like the witch's alphabet, because it's a beautiful, the witch's alphabet is a beautiful script, absolutely exquisite. And some of your, and having seen now the symbols that you've drawn, they have a similarity to that for me.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
don't think you've ever even seen the witch's alphabet. No.
No.
So
No.
there's something there, isn't it? A sort of communication. And I don't know if this feels right for you, but perhaps that, we're undergoing such change now,
Mm.
such transformation. But perhaps it's a bit like working with a crop circle.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, and I've looked at runes, and then there's some ancient symbols in Egypt that aren't figures; they're
Yeah.
shapes very similar to
Yeah.
mine. So I'm like, it's like something that we humans have been doing for a long time.
Yeah. Yes.
So I feel like there's that, but I also feel like they're very, the way I've made them is they're very like now of this time.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, they could be. I mean, I'm just throwing this out, extraterrestrial information. We don't know. I mean, it's like, who makes the crop circles? A lot of people say, well, they're man-made. I've been in man-made and I've been in not man-made. So, I'm very open.
yes.
Jess, just to finish off, what would you like to say to anyone who, about the journey that you've been on, or people who are beginning to wake up or having very strange experiences like you've had? What would you like to say to them?
I think I'd like to say, remember your body. Like, I think that's my biggest journey is like with all of the things that happen, in the end, it's my journey with my body. And like, can I just sit here with this feeling, with all of this thing that's happened to me? Can I still be with me and be present on the ground, on the earth, with the sunlight ahead above me?
Mm.
Simple,
Yeah,
eh?
very simple.
It's a
It is
journey.
simple, but blimey, it's hard to do.
No.
So it is that, and what would you like to say to people who've had, or maybe having these near-death experiences? Like, what would you like to say to them?
Um, What would I like to say to them? What I was thinking when you first said that, I was thinking about suicide. So, like, that's what popped into my head. And for me, the near-death experiences told me I've had three, and every time it's the same, it's not your time yet, go back. So, I've had to find a way to be here and want to be here. And that feels like that's been a big part of my journey because now I am here and I want to be here.
Okay. Mm.
That it, does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, I'm completely non-judgmental around suicide.
Yeah.
Some people just cannot face the pain of being alive another day.
I know.
And who am I to say that's wrong? And who am I to say whatever a lot of people say about that? But I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. Uh,
Yeah.
but for me, I don't look at life as sacred. I look at life as an experience.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Well,
So,
the experience of a near-death experience for me has completely taught me about surrender. So, like, let go of the outcome, and that's why I don't fear death because it's like I know what it's going to feel like in the end, and it's like, but it's all the other stuff that you're leaving, isn't it? Like your friends, your family, your job, whatever you're doing here, your life here.
yeah.
Help me with that, like to try, well, yeah, to remember to be in flow and just to like enjoy the moments. And if something difficult comes, I notice what happens inside me, and I eventually, hopefully, come to that place of surrender about it.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the work I've been doing around about astrology and death is, being getting ready.
Ah,
Young Carl Jung talked about the second half of life really needs to be focusing on how can I die as well as and accepting and releasing as I possibly can.
yeah,
Yeah, And
mm,
Buddhists teach this as well.
mm,
And I think those of us who've had near-death experiences, we have a glimpse into that.
yeah. And we do that on the medicine wheel as well. We do a lot of death work, like
Yeah,
conscious death work. So it does help.
it does.
And yes, in this culture, we often don't want to talk about it.
So, anyone out there, if you're having a very strange experiences, or your astrological chart will be signaling something in that. And what I would say is don't predict, because you don't know how it's going to manifest in your life, but
Okay.
it'll signify, that there will be something that comes.
Yeah.
And just because you've got a Pluto, let's say, which Jess had, conjuncting your Neptune, it does not mean to say you're going to have a near-death experience. It doesn't. There could be, let's say, a massive spiritual awakening, which has
Yeah.
nothing to do with death and dying. So, as I said, it's really wise not to predict, but
Yes.
just to watch with interest and
Yes.
curiosity, and be in tune with what you're feeling as that aspect draws closer.
Yeah, I like that, Sue. And also, like, I think of like the near-death experience where a lightning strike is like initiation. And initiation can happen in so many ways, can't it? It can just be a tiny
Yes.
moment with a
Yeah.
child, a child the other day, just my granddaughter said, I love you, Granny. And that it's almost like that explodes me. Do you
Yeah.
think? It's like
Yes.
initiation can come in many forms.
Yeah. Jess, thank you so much for this conversation. I've absolutely loved it. Now, I'm going to be putting all Jess's information below this video, and so you'll know where to find her. And if you want to contact her, I'm sure Jess, you'd be willing for that.
Yeah.
If maybe that people would want to do that. And thank you all so much for listening. And as I say always, God bless you on your journeys.
Mm.
Take care for now. Bye.